Our next presenter is Karla Walsh, which I know she has a cheering section in here. Oh, come on, there you go. Karla, a Des Moines diehard, spends her days working at Meredith, freelance writing, and teaching group fitness classes, then balancing that all out with a nice meal in the town. She lives by the motto, leave a little sparkle wherever you go, and considers Beyonce and Tim Gunn her spirit animals. Unless the BuzzFeed quiz is true, then it's fair. So please welcome Karla.
I brought a few notes because anybody who knows me knows that I tend to talk a little bit too much. So I'm trying to keep on track. All right. So as you can see, I was never one to really sit on the sidelines. When I was 1, I broke my leg helping my mom pick cherries, and within 2 weeks I had worn a hole in the bottom of my cast because I was scooting around so much. But by the time I had entered junior high, I had lost confidence and gained weight and got up to 180 pounds, as you can see here. I figured all of my problems, social, no boyfriend or a date to a dance, physical, slow mile times in gym, and otherwise would be solved if I lost weight. At 15, I started my health kick, trading chicken nuggets that I would eat every day for grilled chicken and hitting the elliptical for 30 minutes a day. My peers, boys included, noticed the results, and I cut portions and added more time at the gym. Within 8 months, I was 60 pounds slimmer, had a senior boyfriend, and a date to prom as a result. Everything was going great. It sounds like a dream, right? But it was more like the beginning of a nightmare, as cliche as that sounds. 4 months later, those 60 pounds became 86, as you can see here, and I barely recognized the skeletal girl that I saw in the mirror. My parents were at their wits' end. They didn't know what to do, how to help, and I had gone to pretty much every doctor that they could think of to help. I was exercising 2+ hours a day and eating maybe 800 calories, and this is the result. The thing was, I knew I was too thin. Without any energy, I pulled away from all those new friends that I made, and inside, something wanted to keep going, keep losing, and prove to those people that called me Big Tit Karla back in junior high that, like, I was stronger and I was in control, not them or their taunts. So my non-emotional dad sat me down and was like, your time is up. We worry that your heart is going to stop. You're not going to survive this, and you need to do something. If you lose 1 more pound, we're putting you in the hospital. So scared straight, after several stops and starts, I made some changes slowly but surely. My body was back on track. Within a year or 2, my brain has still been a work in progress. So fast forward 7 years, I found my weight and activity happy place, as you might say. And for a challenge, I decided to sign up for a marathon to raise money for a cancer charity. My godmother was battling metastatic breast cancer. I figured if her brain and body were strong enough to fight that for so many years, the least I could do was run a marathon. So the Thursday before a Sunday event in July of last year, I was on the mile walk home from work, jamming to Justin Timberlake, as one does, and my foot made friends with the tire of an SUV midway through a crosswalk. They didn't see me when I was walking on the yield to pedestrians sign, and my car was pinned under the wheel for a moment, and in disbelief I sat up and kind of tried to keep walking. I went into Tim Gunn make it work mode and just was like, everything's fine, this is going to be cool, I've got a marathon to run, I don't know what just happened. Within the first step, my sandal-clad foot refused to stop shaking, and I was like, okay, well, maybe something's wrong here. One urgent care clinic, an ambulance ride, an ER visit later, I realized that I had 4 broken bones in my foot and a broken elbow. And there was a splint and a cast that remained. So the extreme disappointment about letting people down, all the people who had donated for my fundraiser, kind of turned into determination. I had to still participate. So I drove the 5 hours to cheer on my friends that were still doing the race and carry the baton for half a mile and do the least I could do to still participate in the event. So the race day came and went, and I began to worry. Where is the end of this exercise hiatus? Is my brain really strong enough to overcome this mental block of not knowing when I'm going to be able to exercise again? And am I going to balloon back to where I was? I thought I'd beat my eating disorder, but did I really? So the idle time was never a strong suit for me, and so I decided to fill the time that I previously spent at the gym doing things with friends, exploring the things that Des Moines has to offer. Once a workaholic, I slowly became a social butterfly, meeting new people and dating more than I had since high school. I was reflecting on what I could do mentally and emotionally, not just physically. So rather than skimping on calories, I tried new cuisines with friends. I went to new restaurants and cooked new meals. I didn't weigh myself. That was something that I stopped during recovery, but nothing really seemed to change in terms of how my clothes were fitting despite all this extra indulgence I had. So I channeled the drive that I learned at the gym way back in the day into my recovery with my physical therapist, and after 3 months of 2 times a week sessions with them, I was given the green light to start running again. But that was 2 weeks before a half marathon that would benefit the cancer charity, and me being me, I was like, well, I have to do it, duh. So before that race, I squeezed in 4 training runs and was like, well, let's just see what happens. You know, like, you're just gonna finish, you don't have to go fast, just get out there and do it. So just crossing the finish line would be a win in this case, which was a total different mindset than I had ever had before. So the more rest and the less pressure was obviously what I needed, because I crossed the finish line in 1:58, and then 3 weeks later, I jammed to some Justin Timberlake and got a PR at another half marathon with just a little bit of training left too. So luckily, the girl that I discovered there in Vegas with that PR didn't stay in Vegas, and so why am I telling you this story? I think there are 3 things that we can all learn from this. One is to look both ways before crossing the street. Always good to make eye contact with that driver and say, hey, I'm here. The second lesson is to give yourself a break. You don't have to stick to all of the rules all the time. It's okay to give yourself a break in terms of resting time, maybe having a cocktail, a plate of pasta every once in a while, and not beating yourself up about it. Because the brain cells that you would be using to calculate all of the calories in that can be used for so many more important things. And the third lesson is to step outside of your box. So inspired by all of the adventures that I took post-injury, I decided to make my resolution for 2014 to do something, at least one thing every week that I've never done before. And life is so much richer when you're on a quest to explore everything that Des Moines has to offer, whether that's Cafe de Scala's Beetle Brunch or the world has to offer.